Seated.
We are still in the first days of Lent, and we would still be constantly hearing the words fasting, prayer, and almsgiving as a reminder that these are the three pillars of Lent. But for this day, let us focus our reflection on fasting. Our readings are particularly pointing or explaining this one pillar of Lent. If we will find another word for fasting that we could easily understand, maybe it would be the word deprivation. We usually deprive ourselves of something, then we say that we are fasting from something. Last Wednesday was a day of fasting, meaning we deprived ourselves of the usual amount of food that we take as a sign of sacrifice. Ang nang kinakailangang mag-fasting ay yung mga nasa 18 hanggang 59 years old. No? Kapag senior na ho ay exempted na dun sa fasting na iyon. Pero hindi ibig sabihin ay wala ng ibang paraan para makagawa ng konting sakripisyo. Dahil hindi lang sa pagkain pwede tayo magsakripisyo. Hindi lang sa pagkain tayo pwedeng mag-fasting. And coming from that perspective, we are also invited to fast in our own little ways. We may not be fasting from our usual amount of food, but there are things that we deprive ourselves that we feel would be an act of sacrifice from us. And to help us understand better, maybe we could also pose 3 questions with regard to our Lenten sacrifice. What are we fasting from? How are we fasting? And for whom are we doing that fasting? We can easily answer the first 2 questions. We can easily think of something that is beneficial for us. We can easily think of ways of how to give it up. Yung iba, sinasabi nila, magfa-fasting ako sa social media. Lagi ako nakatutok sa Facebook, lagi ako nakatutok sa TikTok, at nauubos yung oras ko doon. At kapag binawasan ko yung oras ko doon, may mas oras akong gumawa ng kabutihan para sa iba, may mas marami akong oras para makapagpagawa o makagawa ng magagandang bagay para sa aking kapwa. But the third question is something that we usually neglect. For whom are we doing these sacrifices? It is a good reminder for us that these sacrifices that we do is not something that we do just to say that we are doing some sacrifices. It will be useless if it does not help us refocus our attention on others. It will be useless if we have given up something that satisfies us, yet it does not help us satisfy the needs and longing of others. Fasting is not a personal endeavor. Fasting makes us draw away from ourselves so that we can draw ourselves closer to others. Minsan ho, mas madalas ang pagpapakain kapag nagpapasko. Bakit? Dahil sinasabi natin, Pasko naman, maraming biyaya, pwede akong magbahagi. Pero ngayong panahon ng Koresma, saan tayo kukuha ng maibabahagi para sa iba? Dahil kung tutuusin, kung pagbabasihan natin yung ating unang pagbasa, ngayong panahon ang mas maganda para magpakain, para magbahagi sa ating kapwa. Saan tayo kukuha ng maibabahagi sa iba? Dun sa natipid natin sa ating mga sakripisyo. Dun sa mga bagay na ginive up natin ngayong panahon ng Koresma. if we will just focus on that something that we will deprive ourselves with, but forgetting the element of for whom are we offering that sacrifice, then we will just end up pleasing ourselves. But we are not called to please ourselves this season of Lent, because it will never be pleasing to deprive ourselves of something. But we will only be true to the spirit of the sacrifice if we have allowed ourselves to be more connected to the bigger community.